Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Phatkat Collections. Got another watch review for you guys today, and this is one by Cadola. Cadola is a brand under Dartmouth. Dartmouth is kind of the parent company for many brands like RGMT, Aviate, Nubeo, and a whole bunch of other ones. So I reviewed Cadola on the channel before. Love the brand, but I pretty much like all watches, right? So it's not like I like one more than another. They're all fun to get, and kind of, in my opinion, the fun of watch collecting, just adding new and unique pieces to your collection. That might be another dress watch, another dive watch, another iced out, blinged out, over the top, gaudy watch. Just depends on your personality. Ultimately, buy what you like, buy what makes you happy. But at the end of the day, the cool thing about collecting affordable watches, and we all know that there's a lot of controversy going on now with luxury brands and what's made where, right? We won't get into that. But just know that you don't have to spend a lot to get a great quality watch. It's going to bring you years of use and enjoyment. So let's check out this Cadola. Cadola boxes, always a little bit different. Check out my other Cadola videos. There's a whole slew of other watches that they make, more traditional dive watches. This one I'd say is more of like more dressy, but Cadola's, so each one of Dartmouth's brands, they have a theme. Like Nubeo, it's ocean and space exploration themed. Like Spinnaker, mainly like nautical themed. And with Cadola, it's more of like vintage race car themed. So sometimes that theme is presented really well with each particular model. Other times it's really just a story and a name about the watch. So this theme is really loose. So let's see what we get with this. So let me slide open the box, outer sleeve, pretty straightforward. You guys know I never really care too much about the box. Open it up, we have this nice kind of beige exterior with a baby blue interior. Kind of different, I guess. Again, not trying to oversell this. I mean, it's a box, right? Box, that's it. Hang tag, watch, pillow. All right, so let's check it out. So here it is. So very conservative watch. I'm definitely not a watch that, to me, screams, look at me, or a watch that is going to, I would say, if you're, I'm not judging, right? Whatever your goal is, if you want to get noticed, I think we all like compliments, right? Just like when you wear cologne, people are like, oh, did you get a compliment? It's a big thing in the cologne community. But for me, yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying I don't like to, I love when somebody notices my watch, right? But if they don't, I really don't honestly care. I wear these watches for me, and it's an accessory, right? But I will say, it is kind of fun when you're wearing something that I think speaks about, I like to be unique. I've always been a unique person. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm telling you I'm more unique than you, or that I'm like, people are looking at it and being like, wow, this guy's unique. I'm not saying that, but I do like to wear things that are a little bit unique. Like rings, for instance. We've got some lab ruby rings, pinky, I mean, it's not everybody's thing, and that's okay. For me, I just really like to kind of, I don't know, I just like to stand out a little. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm, looking for attention, or that's my main goal. But ultimately, I wear what I like, and I like wearing flashy things, right? I think this is a kind of a flashy ring. It's not for everybody, right? It makes me happy. I wear it around the house if I'm not going anywhere. So obviously, if you wear it at home and you're not going anywhere, you're not trying to get compliments, is my point. Remember, you always got to buy things. It makes me feel good, is the best way I'm saying, to wear things that I can express what I'm like, right? And so that's the cool thing about watches, that there's so many different ones. So if you are a guy who's really into the vintage race car thing, maybe this doesn't scream vintage race car, right? I do think, though, this one here, I like how they do this leather strap with the holes in it. What this reminds me of, and how I tie this with like vintage racing, is like some vintage racing gloves, or driving gloves, right? I picture like the brown leather and some like convertible old school Jag with some guy going through like the countryside, gripping this like deer skin driving gloves with the knuckles exposed. That's kind of where my mind goes with this. And so I dig it. I can kind of picture myself wearing like more of a dress style brown leather jacket with this particular watch. So again, it's an accessory, and these accessories make you feel good, right? When I walk out of the house, if I'm rocking this brown leather jacket, I feel good knowing that, hey man, I feel like I look good, and in my eyes. And so I think anytime you buy something that gives you that, I think it's pretty fun, right? So that's the best way I can describe it, right? And again, everybody has different reasons for wearing a watch, but my kind of my point mentioning that is if you are a guy who's into the vintage, like I did a girl once, her father was into like racing these like old vintage race cars. And to me, this would be something like I think he would dig because it's conservative. It's not over the top, blinged out and gaudy, but it does have that vintage kind of driver's glove kind of vibe. So it's cool. So let me read you what it says about this. It says here, a bold tribute to vintage motorsports heritage featuring a striking dial inspired by classic odometers and framed by an inner turning bezel. It's a 46mm piece. It captures the essence of retro racing style. Rich vintage-inspired color palette pairs perfectly with the perforated rally strap, evoking the spirit of high-speed eras past, right? So that's our little story. Let's talk specs. 46mm case diameter, 12.4 in case thickness, 54mm lug to lug. We have a 20mm brown genuine leather strap, 10 ATMs of water resistance, 100 grams in weight. Khaki color on this one here, printed indexes. When you turn one of these, I'm going to call it function knobs, it turns in a rotating bezel, and then of course you have your standard crown. Neither screw down, of course, and I'm sure, I don't know which car they were kind of modeling this after. Some vintage race car probably had, I mean, it's a very basic dial. Like for me to look at that and say, oh, it's inspired by a vintage gauge, it's really a stretch in my opinion. But I think what really makes this watch, I think, see, with this company, what I would do if I was behind the marketing, every single watch, like if your vibe is vintage motorsports heritage, every watch would be on a perforated strap like this, because this to me screams vintage racing more than anything you can say about the dial. Because let's face it, vintage racing dials, like a vintage tachometer, speedometer, they're basic. There's nothing to them. There's nothing fancy like a modern LED dash, right? And there's not really much you can do with like a tach or a gauge. You know, it's no different than just a standard watch dial, right? But again, what screams vintage to me is this brown perforated leather strap. Totally dig it. I think it's a great looking piece, and definitely something that if you know, if you're looking to buy this for a gift for somebody, if they're into that vintage racing kind of vibe, this is a nice gift. So a couple color different variations. We have the bottle green, which is brown strap, green face. We have kind of like a Jaguar green almost. Then, of course, we have the kind of tan strap with blue face. We have this one I think is the best one, that dove gray, they call it on the face with the brown. And, of course, a classic black on black. I think, arguably, this one here is the best color variation. It is a Japanese automatic. It probably is an H35 or a Miyota, but I just don't know because they don't list it. Shame on you, Cadola. I mean, I don't know how many more times I gotta say it, this company to update their website, but they're probably not going to, and that's fine. If you are making a purchase and as always, link and coupon codes in the description. If you are gonna get this and you are particular and you say, hey, I don't trust that that's an NH35 or a Miyota, I need to know, drop me a comment, let me know, I'll get you the information on it. Very nice looking piece. Price point $245 today. That is on sale right now. So, when we're looking at price points on watches, I think realistically anything from 100 to 300 is really all you have to spend on a watch. Absolutely, I have watches that are more expensive, but I don't think spending more gets you better quality. It just might get you something that's more desirable in, supply and demand dictate price, right? And so if you have something that's selling out really quick, it's super popular, yeah, sometimes those are going to warrant a higher price. So, that's kind of my spiel on price. But great quality, nice looking watch, and let's see what it looks like on the wrist. As always, I'm doing this in a standard Fat Cat collection format. If you need to see some close-ups on this, I'll put the link in the description to the up-close and personal video where you only see the watch. Some folks like to see me in this just dashing beard. All joking aside, if some people don't want to see my face at all, right? They don't like me. They just want to see the watch, and that's okay. I want to provide two different versions. You can see the watch, up close personal, no Fat Cat collections, and then these ones. So I'll put the link to each of these videos in the link or in the description of each video so you can check out both. But nice looking piece. This is on a 7-inch wrist. I am on almost the very last notch on the belt here. And so, I would think that if you have I think you can get away with a 6.5-inch wrist can wear this, because I have a 7. This is just a tad bit loose on me. You could definitely get away with it if you're a 6.5-inch wrist. And it's a nice looking piece. It's conservative, but picture this watch without this without this strap. Like, that strap really makes it. And I like the way this looks so much. There's a few watches I have that, you know, I don't really wear all that much. I don't know which brand they are, but, you know, I think sometimes adding just, if it's a conservative black watch, standard size, nothing really over the top, just very conservative. Sometimes just adding a nice strap like this, whether it be an exotic, you know, I mentioned that many times, I get like a Stingray strap, but this, it definitely takes it, I don't know, I don't want to say takes to the next level, but it makes it a little bit more unique and a little bit more, I think, appealing to look at. It has that race kind of vibe to it. It's a great looking piece. I like it. I'm always surprised when I get a watch that, you know, lately when I've been working with Dartmouth for a long time, and normally I would pick the watches I want, and there is some discretion there, but lately they've been sending me watches that they want me to review. And so, like with this, I didn't go out and pick this. This is probably not something I'd even say, hey, send me that one, you know, because it is so conservative. But I'm always surprised when I get a watch and then I throw it on the wrist. I always seem to have like a different opinion about it. And I'll tell you, again, the strap on this is what really makes the watch. I absolutely love it. I think it has like just that, it has a tough, like vintage aggressiveness to it. And I dig it. Definitely going to get wrist time. So that's it, folks. Check out the other video. Links in the description. Do subscribe to the channel. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching again, and have a great day.